Today we are going to look at the topic standard form. Standard form is basically writing the multiples of 10 in index form. When numbers are written in standard form, they are usually given basically in this form: a times 10 raised to power n, where the value a here is a number between 1 to 10, between 1 to 10, but 1 is inclusive. And why our n here is an integer, either positive or a negative integer. So when a value is written in this form, we say that the number has been expressed in standard form. First, we are going to look at how numbers are written in standard form. We are going to look at these numbers. Now, solution number 1, 419. In expressing a number in standard form, we say that the number must be in this form: a times 10 raised to the power of n. Our a value here must be a value either between 1 and 10. The value must not be up to 10, but it can be from 1 down. So what are we going to do here? The whole number 419, there is a decimal at this point. So what are we doing? We are going to move the decimal that is at the end here to a value between 4 and 1. We move our decimal from the end to the first and the second value. So what do we have? 4.19 times 10. What will now be the power that it will be raised up to? How many places of decimal do we move? We move 2 places to get our decimal here. 1, 2. Because we move 2 places to the left, our power will now be equal to raised to the power of 2. So now let's look at the second value, 57,000. We are going to write it in standard form. The a part of this will be a value between 5 and 7. So we now have what? 5.7 times 10 raised to what will be the power that this 10 will be raised into. We are going to count how many places we move to get the decimal to this point. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our answer becomes raised to the power of what? 4. Look at number 3. We have 862 0 0 0 0. Now let's look at that. So what are we doing? We are writing this value in standard form. We are going to move our decimal to come in between 8 and 6. Always we come between the first and the second value, 8 and 6. So we now have what? 8.62 times 10 raised to the power. What will now be the power? We are going to count how many values we have to move our decimal to this point. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it becomes raised to the power of what? 6. Raised to the power of 6. Now let's look at number 4. Number 4, we have 0.0035. We want to write this value in standard form. Now you can see that this value is a value that is lesser than 1. A fraction. What are we trying to do first? The decimal must come between the first 2 significant figures. So we have what? 3.5 times 10. Now, you can see that our decimal will have to move to the right to get to this point. And how many times will it move? 1, 2, 3. It moves 3 times to the right. When the decimal moves to the right, it carries a negative sign. It becomes minus what? 3. So the answer is 3.5 times 10 raised to the power of minus what? 3. Let's look at the last one. And what do we have? 0.0000478. We are going to move again. Our decimal should come between the first two significant figures. What is the first two significant figure? 4 and 7. So we now have what? 4.78 times 10. What will now be the raised to power? How many times our decimal moves to get to what? This point. Now let's look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? 5. And that gives us what? Raised to the power of minus what? 5. This is how numbers are written in standard form. Most times we can also be required to write numbers that in standard form, to write them in ordinary form. From standard form to ordinary numbers. Let's look at how we do that. Solution. Number 1, 8.6 times 10 raised to the power minus 1. Now, whenever we want to write a value in standard, from standard form to ordinary value, we look at the power. Because the power here is minus, we are going to count our value back to the left. The number of times. So this is what? Minus 1. So we are going to move our decimal ones to the left. And that will give us what? 0.86. Number 2, we have 4.32 times 10 raised to power 4. We want to write 4.32 times 10 raised to power 4 in ordinary value. When the power is positive, we'll be counting, taking our decimal to the right. Let's go. 4 here. We move this word 1. We move it again 2. And we now have 3 and 4 times. But there's no other value. So you add what? 0. When there's no other value, you add 0. So this becomes what? The value in standard form. If we can go back to what we have done just now, when we write values from ordinary, you can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The decimal comes here. So this is the value. Number 3, let's look at that. 5.74 times 10 raised to power minus 2. So the power here is negative. So when it's a negative power, we are moving the decimal to the left. So this becomes what? We are moving 2 times to the left. So we now have 1 and 2. So we have 0.0574. We have moved the decimal from here 2 times. 1, 2. And that gives us what? Our value in ordinary number. Number 4. Let's look at number 4. We have 6.1 times 10 raised to power 2. So the power there is positive. So we are moving our decimal point to the right. And we will move 2 times. So if we are moving 2 times from here, we now have what? 6, 1, 0. So we now have this from here. 1, 2. We have added what? 0. Number 5 says 2.0 times 10 raised to power of 5. Since it's raised to power positive, we are going to do what? Move our decimal to the right 5 times, and that will give us what? 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that becomes our value. Now let's take a last. And what we have? 7.8 times 10 raised to power minus 5. Now, you can see that this is negative. So the power will be moving. The decimal will be shifting to the left. And we're going to move the decimal to the left 5 times. So that will give us what? 0.123478. And what we have written this in ordinary form. Writing of numbers in ordinary form from our standard form. You have gained from the mathematics class, please don't forget to share, like, follow, and comment on all our social media platforms and subscribe. God bless you.